And time for some squad leader stuff, or actually officer. You can change your gun if you have unlocked it, and you can change appearances. On Foy, for example, you really want to have a white paint helmet. That's in the DLC you have to download, and you can choose face, etc., etc. So, I've unlocked the M1 Carbine, and it's a lot. I think it's good all around. Thompson is better in CQC inside houses usually, but you can do that with the Carbine also. Not that bad. Squad leaders always have main, pistol, grenade, smoke, bandages, his watch, and binders. And that goes same for recon and tanker commander also, or spotter. You can place markers with either opening the map and pressing 1, 2, 5 for the different markers, and mouse click, and you move with just having the map open and clicking on the marker. Or you can take your binoculars and select the marker type of marker. Oops, and press. You can only have one marker at the same time of the same same type. I usually use the map to make sure I understand correctly. I want a flank flag battery. Let's see here. Where do you want to be? Where do you want to go? We're gonna go here, and then maybe observe there, and the final destination is there. On the attack, gives me a good idea of how I should do it, how I should do the work. Squad leaders and spotters can make outposts or garrisons. I have a garrison near structure, so I can place it. I'm lazy to go back, but outposts. Boink. I place an outpost. Placing new outposts. Have a 300-second respawn timer. So I suggest if you have a garrison nearby, and if you have just placed your outpost for a quick spawn of your team, just dismantle it. Then you can put it back up instantly. That's good for if you're placing garrisons really near your outposts, or well, it's up to you. It's good to have two different spawn points, so you're not being spawn camped, and you will receive a warning if there's an enemy nearby on any kind of spawn except the HQ, and that kind of tells you where enemy is coming from. So if you have placed a garrison there, a garrison there, and an outpost there, and you get either of them with a red skull, that means enemies nearby, then you can almost know where they're coming from, and you should work towards to secure your spawn, or even take down your current spawn and make a new one. If you have placed your outpost and your outpost is being taken down by a enemy, the reset timer will not go away. You will still have your seconds that you place it from. Placement of outposts, or garrisons for that matter, my tip is, if you have a wall, well, higher than these ones, and the enemies nearby, he can actually take them out by hugging a wall if the spawn point is placed near enough the wall. I'm not sure 100% how near you have to be to destroy the spawn, but a tip is not to place a spawn super close to the wall, or, well, hedgerows. Place it a bit inside so he can't destroy the spawn just by hugging this wall. It's very common that you try to do that. Because he can't see you, or enemy can't see you, so to speak. But it can destroy your spawn and then go in and kill you. So tip is to keep it away from walls a bit. So you have to find your sweet spots. For example, here he can't come close from any wall side. If I would be able to place one here, and that means this could be a good spot for a post. He can't actually bring it down from that side, I think, or this side, but it's hidden except from there. This wasn't a really good spot, but decent. Oh my god, my throat. So, I'm gonna show you another tip for grenades and smoke grenades, and that is, you have two kinds of throwing capabilities. You can do overhead throwing, the normal grenade throwing as in all the games, and you have underhand throwing. When you have reached, for example, a window here, you really don't want to make an overhand throw, because it's a bit, see here, it would just, if you do an overhand throw, it's gonna go above your head. That means it's gonna bounce off the wall here. Obviously you have to know where to aim, so it takes a bit practice, but it's preferable if you know there's a guy in here. You might know that he have a thought, he have already killed you, he thinks, but you can just blink, do an underhand throw, just lob it in. It's a bit more silent than throwing grenades. Underhand thrown is right mouse click. And obviously, as you see, I have not trained it especially much. throw overhand with the smoke. You can see it's a bit louder. Let's make one here. Smack it in. Also, remember, you can vault things in this game. To be able to vault, it needs to be highest than your armpits, kind of. You can vault anything that is around your armpits or below. So you can vault this window too. Boink! It's a great. Instead of it gives them a bit surprise. Instead of going through the door here, you can just surprise them by vaulting in. Because they most likely will sit in corridors. For example, sitting in a corner here, watching here, he can see you vaulting in there, and you can kill him easy. Remember, in the voice chat, this is now squad chat, a screen. For me, it's B. And if you see a sign A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, that's the leader of your unit. If you don't see anything, it's just a member. A infantry unit, according to me, should almost always have a support guy. A support guy can place supplies for you to build garrisons in, instead of the commander dropping supplies on you, and then the enemies will know you're there, usually, so they will fight for that. So it's very much recommended to have a support guy in each infantry unit. Might not be needed for a unit that is defending objectives, because then you know, okay, there will be guys there. Another thing with placing garrisons is the supply drop. Drop ore from your supply guy. You can make your garrison within 50 meters of this supply drop. That means I have a I have one placed here, and each of these small boxes inside the big boxes is 20 meters. That means I can place my garrison out here, even, or roughly out here, or roughly out here, or roughly out here. in a circle. And my tip is to place your supplies as hidden as possible. Because if you have supplies, you can make a garrison. You can. I think it's more important that you have your supplies hidden than your garrison. Of course, always find a good spot for your garrison to deploy on, so you don't get spawn camped easy. For example, this is a okay place. They can't really, tanks can at least not really see you. It's actually a bad place because it's a area usually coming enemies on or through, but you can't be spawn camped by tanks. But necessity is law. If you have to place a garrison, go ahead. If you have to place an outpost, just to hold the enemies off, maybe a strong point, maybe just the area, maybe you just want to keep them here for a bit, just a second to aid your next point attack or keeping your southern edge for a bit while, then place your outpost or garrison, just to get some kind of profit from it. Garrison without no profit, or game wise, is not a good garrison. So even if you have a really shit placement for your outpost or garrisons, if you have done something important with it, it's always a good garrison. You have your local chat. For me, it's V. Everyone will hear it, and everyone will see if it's a member, if it's a squad leader, whatever. Remember, it's not only your unit that is working in the game. Then we have command chat, voice chat, that is. It goes between all the squad leaders and the commander. When a commander is talking, he will come up as yellow. But when he's talking, when you're watching him as a commander, he actually will be red. But for everyone else, he will be yellow. And one important thing that a commander has is he can place markers for the entire team that the entire team can see. So squad leaders have to, one important role is to place observer markers or any kind of markers and tell the commander what that marker might be or is. Maybe you've spotted a tank. You mark it out, observe, tell the commander able observation marker tank. If you don't have any commander, just tell which grid the tank is in, roughly where he is. For example, tank in Foy, that's Foy, by the way. Echo 4 by church. Then people will usually just know where the part is. So to aid your teammates, for example, a tank commander, tank leader, tank unit leader, tell him where the tank is, where he's pointing, where he's heading, is it standstill, where is it moving around, is quite crucial for him to make judgments of what he should do. And remember, local voice chat can also If you have a tank right next to you, friendly, and you see a tanker, tell the tank commander or tell the voice in the voice that I see a tank uh, on your right, on your left, uh, next field by hedgerow, hidden. Communication in space, key in this game. Remember that. Kills, deaths, doesn't matter. It's about teamwork. It's about exploiting, not exploiting. Know what the enemy's doing. Uh, know what you're doing. Know what the friendlies are doing. If you have good communication with that, you most likely will win.